What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction to an incredible YouTuber. We got Evan Edinger. I reacted to so many of his videos. He is an absolute legend. Here he is talking about the pros and cons of living in Liverpool. I can't wait to hear what he's got to say about Liverpool. We got to react to a video about Liverpool. Before we jump into this one, though, if you happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. And if you'd like to support this channel by becoming a member, all you got to do is hit that join button to receive your exclusive benefits. Without further ado, let's get right to it.
Hello everybody and welcome back to a man whose vlog channel is the only proof he's not being held hostage in his room. My name is Evan Edinger, and hey, as you can tell, I'm not actually being held hostage in my room. I'm coming to you from Liverpool, lovely city in the UK, where I'm currently living. Now, today's video is sponsored by Squarespace, by the way. I'll tell you more about them at the end of the video, but today I thought it'd be interesting to go over some pros and cons about the lovely city of Liverpool, where I've been living for a month of my life, actually. Fun fact. Also, I hope this microphone works out. Okay, I've got nothing that I usually use to film with, but I got this thing. That's pretty cool, right? Hey, cool. So I've been to many cities in the UK. Obviously, I'm very familiar with London, lived there for 9 years now, but I've been to Manchester, I've been to Brighton, I've been to Bath, I've been to Sheffield, I've been to Cambridge, I've been to Oxford. However, none of them really had that, like, they weren't really for me. I've been to all of them, they were kind of like, I've been to Walsall, whoa. But Liverpool...
I've been to Walsall. So he said he just ain't found a city in the UK that fit him and his personality and who he is. And they weren't his pace, his style, I guess. But Liverpool might be different.
Liverpool's different. Liverpool feels so freaking good, and let me explain why. So first pro of living in Liverpool is there are so many different places to shop. I've been to cities in the UK in which there's just one street. Okay, I'm looking at you, Bath. You got Roman baths, you got a cathedral, you got one street to shop. That's basically it, all right? You might as well die. Or just buy online like most of us. But hey, Liverpool's got so many places. You got Bold Street, which has all these individual little unique shops that you can go to. Reminds me of Camden Town, if Camden Town was more like Camden City. You've got Liverpool One, which is this massive outdoor, indoor mall type thing that reminds me so much of LA. It's so extravagant, new, and beautiful, and so much.
I thought it was like an outlet, outdoor. Oh, but that's different than an outlet.
Malls in the north, south, east, west, it's kind of crazy. But also one of the biggest pros that I first noticed when I got here to Liverpool was that the city is just exploding with culture. Like, you can just tell how much history is involved in this city and how important this port city was. For instance, similar to London, no matter where you go, there are just monuments and big old things to look at everywhere, and there'll be plaques in front so you can read about the history of this area, what the plaque's supposed to mean. There is art museums, history museums. Oh my gosh, the library here is so beautiful. Oh my god, it's so big. I was blown away. I was like, why is this library so crazy nice? Has no right to be. I was just kind of surprised with how much culture and sheer investment over the many years this city has gone through. However, first con, Liverpool did recently lose its...
I feel like that's so cool. First of all, there's so many cities, I feel like, in England that just have so much history within them. It's a very historic country. So that's just literally incredible. Absolutely love that. But then all the places to shop is really nice. I mean, it's nice to have options. I'm personally not like a big city type of guy. So I'm like small city right outside of a big city type of guy, right? If I want to go in and shop and go crazy at humongous malls, I want to be like 15 minutes away from going into the big city and getting to the mall. But I want to come back to my small city type video. All right, let's see what we got.
Many years this city has gone through. However, first con, Liverpool did recently lose its UNESCO heritage-ness. Okay, UNESCO was like, hey, you're doing too much stuff to the city. It's no longer, you know, as original as it had been. And even though I've listed this as a con, and I did have a couple tweets of people that were upset about this happening to Liverpool, I kind of stand by it in a way. As much as I do think it's so important and interesting to visit cities that have been preserved and you can visit and be like, wow, this is, you know, such a culturally significant city and this is how it's always been. Cities shouldn't really be stagnant, you know? I feel like by forcing a city never to develop and to keep those old ways, you're kind of forcing it, you're handicapping it in a way, and I don't necessarily like that. The fact that so much of the city has new mixed with old, has these new big extravagant bits like Liverpool One, makes me feel like this city has gone, we are culturally significant, historically significant, but we're also going to continue to be significant in the future by reinvesting and building up newer infrastructure. So I kind of like that. So
Yeah.
It's a con, but it's actually pro. It's not like none of the old
con
beautiful
pro.
architecture is
Pro
around.
con.
It is. Actually, that's one of the big pros of Liverpool, I'd say. The architecture here is crazy beautiful. Like, I just didn't expect this at all. Like, there were so many buildings, like, going towards the wharf that reminded me so much of, like, historic New York City. And if you've been to New York, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, like, Manhattan or anything. I'm talking about, like, the Grand Central Station, the terminal in New York, like that beautiful architectural style that we used to have in the States. It's alive. I mean, that basically, we ripped it off of Liverpool, probably. I mean, Liverpool and New York used to be best mates. Used to trade all the day. They used to trade all day. All day, every day. But yeah, just walking around is kind of a feast for the eyes, just in terms of architecture. You can take a picture, point your camera anywhere, and it's gonna look pretty good. And if you're gonna live in a city, it might as well be as pretty as Liverpool. And like I said earlier, with this architecture, it's not like they just destroy these old buildings and then put new ones in their place. No, they've actually incorporated all these like old wharf buildings and made them into newer residential places. But they've kept a lot of the old bits and parts from like the shipbuilding manufacturing on the outside of the building to give it that bit of character, and it just feels so right. Now, this con's a bit of a weird one.
I feel like, dang, so even the con was a pro. So literally still nothing bad about Liverpool. They just lost their UNESCO World Heritage status, which isn't a con because that, I guess they're doing too much to the city. They're too much new infrastructure, so it's losing kind of that historical context that it had to be a UNESCO World Heritage site. But he's like, that's a pro because love to see more new infrastructure come in and just kind of see the city continue to build, continue to progress, which I think is really cool. Although I love the fact that like so many cities have so much history within, so much historic buildings and everything. But at the same time, you have to innovate, you have to progress. You can't just be stagnant forever. So that's my thing. Yeah. What was this last pro that he was talking about? I just need to remember what it was. All right, let's go back a little bit.
Good.
Oh, you kind of talked about, I guess, kind of how pretty the city is now, just the views of the city. So, yeah, I've never been to Liverpool. Y'all talk to me in the comment section. How beautiful do you think the city is? How good looking is it? Talk to me.
Con's a bit of a weird one, but I did a lot of research and people told me that you gotta go to Chinatown. Liverpool is one of the biggest Chinatowns in the entire world. In fact, outside of China, supposedly is the biggest Chinese archway. I'm excited. I want to see this place. It was one of the most desolate places of the city I had visited. Almost every restaurant was completely shut down. I felt like there were like newspapers just flowing in the breeze. There was no one parked there. No one was walking there. It felt oddly unsafe and unsettling. I don't know why. I've looked it up. There was a Reddit thread I'd seen in which someone said, what's going on? And people said, maybe it's because of COVID, but I don't really know. And so that was just kind of a weird con, was that there are just different pockets of the city in which I was able to find like big vacant lots or derelict buildings. And it was just a bit surprising. And in fact, hypothetically, you could view this as a con in terms of there's a lot of space to build up. It's not like they're running out of space. There's a lot of these broken down empty lots that you can build up again. So more housing. We do need more housing. Cons, too many seagulls. Leave me alone. But back on the pros, I do feel like every little neighborhood of Liverpool feels so distinct. It feels so its own vibe, not just like the same, bits of the same stew. You know what I mean? Like you walk around a city and it's basically the same place. Every neighborhood's so vibrantly different. That's what I like so much. You've got such an interesting little vibe in this little Bold Street, Hope Street area. You go to Anfield, you go to Everton, even like Crosby, which is a bit north of the city, like that whole little beach vibe feels like its own place. There were so many comparisons I was making to where I've lived in London, specifically Chiswick, where I was like, wow, this is freaking nice. And yet, property isn't explosively high. It's high, but it's not London, but like, damn, it just looked really nice. All right, now here's a big con that they talk about.
That's cool. Beautiful city, but not super expensive. You don't get that often, especially here in the U.S., but I guess I don't know about UK too much. But here we are. He found a beautiful city where the prices weren't absolutely astronomical, like they always are in a beautiful city. Y'all got too many seagulls. Liverpool, okay, got that. Not a big fan of seagulls either. And then another con was, I guess, why is everybody telling him to go to Chinatown? When he goes to Chinatown, it's just absolutely desolate. Like, shops are all shut down. It's empty. Why y'all telling him to go to Chinatown if Chinatown was shut down? That's what I'm not understanding. But like you said, it is these vacant lots and everything is more space for housing to be built. And housing is necessary in the UK. React to a video where housing was getting ridiculous. So, there you go.
But I don't think they talk about it enough in the north. y'all close your shops super early, all right? And I'm used to it now in London, but up in the north, they're like, oh, you want to get dinner at 6 p.m.? No. I cannot tell you how many times. I went for like 3-hour walk around the city trying to find a place to eat. Like, I just wanted a British pub, all right? I'm an American still, and I go to a British pub now to get that culture, all right? Maybe I wanted to try a little scouse. Oh my God, the amount of places that were like, sorry, we don't serve food anymore. Look at my watch. 7:30, you don't serve food anymore? What is wrong with this place? 7:30? When do you guys eat dinner here? Do you eat dinner? Is that the issue? Also, what's the point of going to a pub at 7:30? You're just gonna keep drinking? Don't answer that. I know you're gonna say yes. We actually went to a restaurant, mind you, not even a pub, that says it's open until 6 p.m. right downstairs, little Maggie Mae's. We're gonna get some scouse. We go in at 5 p.m. and she says, kitchen closed.
Oh my god.
Then what are you doing being open? Do people come into a restaurant and be like, hello, can I have a soda pop? What? I don't understand the point of closing the kitchen an hour before the business closes. That's not even a drink business. Just close the business. Just don't even say it's open. That was infuriating. I then finally walked ages to get to a place called Egerton, near the theater. Can you believe I go in, I'm thinking this is a pub. It's like 7 p.m., honestly, at this point. I'm thinking I should be fine. I say, hey, can I get a scouse? And he says, actually, kitchen's closed due to a technical difficulty.
Oh my days.
What is a technical difficulty? The fire won't come out. All right, this is a unique experience to me, yes. However, not really. It happened multiple days. So I ended up getting dinner at a place called Heavenly Desserts. I had a waffle, and the American in me was very happy. But the British person in me was absolutely not. Absolutely not. Also, I do just want to say, as a con, the Northerners seem to have this big thing where anytime you say you live in London, they go, oh, well, the pints in the north, they're much cheaper. Paying for pints in the south, way too expensive. Oi. They always end in oi. Now, I just want to say that...
I'd be heated. Yeah, like 7:30, and ain't nobody serving dinner. About 3-hour walking, ain't nobody serving dinner. Like, yeah, that's frustrating. Like, I eat dinner around 7:30 as well, so I would be absolutely annoyed, especially with the one that said open till 6, and then it's 5, and they say kitchen's closed. Well, like he said, why are you open? If the kitchen, why not just say closes at 5? But if you're gonna stay open, then why not keep the kitchen open till 6? These places would absolutely frustrate me if I was looking for something to eat. Which I would be at 7:30. I'd be getting hungry. I want food, and for food not to be open, I'd be annoyed. I'd be like, something's got to give. Something's got to give. So y'all talk to me in the comment section. Why is that? Why? I understand. I react to UK content. I understand shops close early. Y'all don't stay open late like the US or 24 hours. Or certain parts do, from what I've heard. But why close that early when people still gotta eat dinner? Y'all ain't trying to make that dinner money?
It's a bit of an exaggeration, okay? Especially from my experience here in the true north of Liverpool. I found that I could go to a pub, and on average, I'd say the pints are about £3.90. Now, for me, in London, if I'm looking around for a pint, I can pretty much find one for £4. Are you trying to tell me that like 10p savings is you're cheaper in the north? And don't tell me, oh, you didn't find the right deadbeat bar between the hours of 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. on a Wednesday evening. Oh, you're right, I didn't. But maybe that's because at those times you can get a Carling for like £2.10, which is cheap. Yeah. But who is drinking before the workday ends on a Wednesday?
True.
Okay, I'm in the north. I need to remember this. But still, I just don't think the pints are really as cheap as people are saying unless you happen to have the right card on the right day. Now, back on the pros, I made a video once where I talked about my favorite foods in the UK, much to the Northerners' disdains, who said, I've never heard of any of these bloody places, they're only in London. And I was like, oh, I guess London's the only place with food. Incorrect. Each city has
I guess London's the only place with food.
Its own food chains. There's places that are just available in the north, such as Mowgli. There's this lovely curry place downstairs. Oh man, delicious. There's so many like individual places I've never heard of that just exist up here. Speaking of home bargains, Northerners know what that is. It's kind of like a Tesco and Aldi had a baby and no one really wanted to take ownership of the child, but it's interesting and it's all over the north. I've never heard of it in my life, but freaking every other stop there's a home bargains. I'm like, cool.
That is pretty cool.
Also, big pro, way more Greggs, okay? London, you're a disgrace. Get more Greggs. I want more Greggs than Starbucks, okay? That is what it is in Liverpool, and that's why it's a big pro. Big up on the pros today. The public transit...
Absolutely. I don't know. I've never been to a Greggs. I don't know what a Greggs is. But I'm still laughing about the fact that he was like that. Hey, beer is not cheap enough to brag about. It's cheaper here in the north than the south. He said 10 pence savings. That ain't gonna help none. I mean, that is technically cheaper. He was like, I'm not going to that random bar on a Wednesday between the hours of 4 and 6 and starting to drink before the work day's over. He said, I'm not doing that. So £3.90 is nothing to brag about. Stop telling me it's cheaper here. It's not really.
But that is what it is in Liverpool, and that's why it's a big pro. Big up on the pros today. The public transit in Liverpool is surprisingly good. I don't know. From my experience in, like, for instance, Norwich, where it's like, oh, you want to go into town? Better call a taxi company. You f***ed.
Oh.
In Liverpool, there's like a really good underground system. The public trains are amazing. Goes all the way along the coast. You can go all the way up to the beaches, all the way down. There's a ferry to the Wirral. You know, you've got pretty good buses. I'd say a little pricey on the buses. However, to get you around places, in comparison to like what London has with the underground, I'd say it was pretty great. It was very fast. I really liked how in the underground stations, it kind of has that like unfinished New York City type of subway vibe, which I just really liked. It just felt like everything worked with the public transit here. Big pro. And like I said, you can go all the way up to the beach. That's another big pro. It's literally on the sea. It's a river, the River Mersey. And have mercy, big con, Crosby Beach. Listen, guys, I've heard there's a place called Formby Beach, which is a bit more north and supposedly nicer, but your boy went to Crosby Beach, which is a really popular place to go because there's a lot of cast iron naked men. That's really how I can describe it. That's the art. It's culture, okay? This man decided to cast iron his penis instead of just sending a nude like a normal creepy man that probably shouldn't do that either. But hey, it was an interesting place. I wanted to go to the beach on the hottest day ever, 29 degrees up here in Liverpool, and guess what happened? It turns out the beaches up in Liverpool are basically like wading through shit, all right? It was literally up to my ankles in mud. I've been to brown beaches, okay, brown sand beaches in the US. I've been to beaches all over the world. You got sand, you got pebble. The debate is like, what's better, sand or pebble? And I'm like, that's not a debate. Don't gaslight me. Sand is always better. Unless you're in Liverpool, where the beach is literally, I just saw an article last month, nearly killed a child with that quicksand. Supposedly they have signs up that...
He said nearly killed the child with that quicksand. Yeah, what is saying that? Where did you go? Was it a rainy day the day before? Why is it mud? I've never been to a beach where it was mud. Sand was cool, but that's mud. That's not sand, bro. That's mud. I just wouldn't want to walk in that. Yeah, but we talked about great public transport. Coming from the U.S., I've never seen public transport that's been good. I've never taken public transport. I've never heard anybody just brag about the public transport in the U.S. So the little public transport we do have, I don't think probably is not any good. And then but Crosby Beach, is it like that all the time? Did he just go on the wrong day? Comment section, talk to me. I need answers.
That are not really signed very well to say like, this isn't a bathing place. But there was a lot of people swimming out there, and I tried to, but it is just a big old mud pile. Disgusting, okay? You call this a beach? Big con. And by far, the biggest pro of Liverpool, I think, is that it truly feels like a great, complete, and yet ever-growing and ever-changing city that I'm really happy I got to experience for so long. I think one of those problems, as I've said multiple times on the channel, of that London bubble is you really get that feeling like, London is the only in the UK. It's that only place. But Liverpool was just a really good, eye-opening experience that a city like Liverpool is so beautiful, perfect, has so much going on for it, and I'm sure that any of the Scousers that live here are really proud to call Liverpool their home. And as you might have noticed, yes, obviously, I'm in between spaces at the moment. Things are very stressful. I have not had any completion on the house. Supposedly, things might change by October, November. I don't know, very stressful. But while I'm in between spaces, today's video sponsor, Squarespace, have helped out my digital space.
I'm going to skip today's video sponsor, Squarespace. But Liverpool, from what I said, it sounded like definitely more pros and cons. Sounded like a great city. He talked about just the feel of living in Liverpool being great. And he sounds like he's lived in lots of cities in the UK, and this one by far has been the best to him. With the pros outweighing the cons. So anyone that lives in Liverpool, you guys talk to me in the comment section. How great do you think the city is? I'd love to hear from you. But that's all we have. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, check out the next one, and I'll see you guys next time.